billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the ever merciful. Surah An-Naml, Ayah 7. Relate to them the story of Musa when he said to his family, I have seen a fire. Soon I may either bring you some information about the right direction from there, or a lighted torch to warm yourselves with. When he came to it, a voice called out to him, Blessed be he who is in this fire and all around it. Glory be to Allah, the Rabb of the worlds. O Musa, this is me, Allah, the Almighty, the Wise. Throw down your staff. When he saw it moving like a snake, he turned back and fled without even looking back. O Musa, do not be afraid, said Allah. My Rasul need not be afraid in my presence, unless of course he is guilty of wrongdoing. Even then, if he replaces that wrongdoing with a good deed, I am indeed forgiving, merciful. Now put your hand into your pocket, it will come out shining white without any harm. These 2 signs are from the 9 signs that you will be given during your mission to Fir'aun and his people. For truly they are a nation of transgressors. But when our signs were shown to them, they said, This is clear sorcery. They were convinced in their hearts about the truth of those miracles, yet they denied those signs in their wickedness and pride. So you see what was the end of those transgressors. We bestowed knowledge on Dawood and Sulaiman. They both said, Praise be to Allah who has exalted us above many of his believing servants. Sulaiman succeeded Dawood. He said, O people, we have been taught the language of birds and given all sorts of things. This is indeed a great blessing from Allah. Sulaiman gathered an army comprised of jinns, men and birds. They all were kept under strict discipline. Once in expedition, he was marching with his army when they came across a valley of ants. One of the ants said, O ants, get into your habitations lest Sulaiman and his army crush you underneath their feet without even noticing it. So Sulaiman smiled, laughing at its statement, and said, O my Rabb, inspire me to render thanks for your favors which you have bestowed on me and on my parents, and to do such good deeds that will please you. And admit me by your mercy among your righteous servants. He took a roll call of the birds and said, I do not see the hoopoe. Where is he? How could he be absent? I will certainly punish him severely or even slay him if he does not offer me a strong reason for his absence. The hoopoe, who did not take long in coming, said, I have just found out that which you do not know. I have brought you reliable information about the people of Sheba. I found that a woman is ruling over them. She has been given everything and she possesses a magnificent throne. Further, I found that she and her people prostrate themselves before the sun instead of Allah. Shaitan has made their deeds fair seeming to them and thus turned them away from the right way, so they have no guidance. To prostrate themselves before Allah, the one who brings to light all that is hidden in the heavens and the earth, and knows exactly what you hide and what you reveal. Allah, there is no God but He. He is the Lord of the mighty throne. Sulaiman said, Soon we shall find out whether what you say is true or false. Go and deliver to them this letter of mine, then turn aside and wait for their answer. The queen said, O my chiefs, a very important letter has been delivered to me. It is from Sulaiman, and it begins with the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. It reads, Do not be arrogant against me, and come to me in complete submission as a Muslim. Then she asked, O chiefs, let me hear your advice, for I make no decision without your counsel. They replied, We are a valiant and mighty nation. You are the commander, so consider what you will command. The queen said, when the kings invade a town, they ruin it and debase its honorable people, and thus they always do. Therefore I shall send them a present and see with what reply my envoys will return. When the envoys of the queen came to Sulaiman, he said, do you want to provide me wealth? The wealth which Allah has given me is far more than what He has given you. You may very well keep your presents. Go back to your people. If your people do not submit, we will march against them with such an army which they shall never be able to face, and we shall drive them out of their land humbled and disgraced. Later on, when Sulaiman heard that the queen of Sheba was coming in submission, he asked, O my chiefs, which of you can bring to me her throne before they come to me in submission? An audacious one from the jinn said, I will bring it to you before you adjourn your court, and most surely I have the necessary strength, and I am trustworthy. One person who had knowledge of the book said, I can bring it to you in the twinkling of an eye. As soon as Sulaiman saw the throne placed before him, he exclaimed, this is by the grace of my Rabb to test me, whether I am grateful or ungrateful. Anyone who is grateful, surely his gratitude is a gain for his own soul, and anyone who is ungrateful should know that surely my Rabb is self-sufficient, self-exalted. Further he said, without any comment to her, set her throne in her sight. Let us see whether she recognizes it, or she is of those who cannot recognize the truth. So when the queen arrived, she was asked, is your throne like this? She replied, it looks as if it is the same. We had come to know that Sulaiman is not only a king but also a prophet. Therefore we have already become Muslims. Other deities whom she worshipped besides Allah had prevented her from believing, for she belonged to an unbelieving folk. Then she was asked to enter the palace. When she saw its floor, she thought that there was a pool of water, so she tucked up her skirts, uncovering her legs. Sulaiman said, this is just a glossy paving of this palace. At this she exclaimed, O my Rabb, I have indeed wronged my soul. Now I submit myself in Islam with Sulaiman to Allah, the Rabb of the worlds. To the people of Thamud, we sent their brother Saleh, saying, worship Allah. But they divided themselves into two discordant factions. Saleh said, O my people, why do you wish to hasten towards evil rather than good? Why do you not ask forgiveness of Allah so that you may be shown mercy? They said, we consider you and your companions a sign of bad luck. He said, your luck is with Allah. In fact, you are a people under trial. There were 9 ringleaders in the city who created mischief in the land and reformed nothing. They said to one another, let us pledge an oath by Allah that we shall make a secret night attack on him and his family. Then we shall tell his guardian that we were not even present at the time his family was killed, and that we are telling the truth. Thus they plotted a plan, and we too plotted a plan which they did not perceive. Just see what was the outcome of their plot. We annihilated them completely, together with all their people. There lie their houses in desolate ruins as a result of their wrongdoings. Verily, in this story there is a lesson for those people who use their common sense. Yet we delivered the true believers who were righteous. Also mention to them of Lut, when he said to his people, do you commit indecency, though you see its inequity? Do you approach men for your sexual desires instead of women? The fact is that you are a people steeped in ignorance. But his people had no answer except to say, drive out the family of Lut from your city. They pose to be very pious. So we delivered him and his family, except his wife, about whom we had decreed that she shall be of those who will remain behind. And we rained on them A shower of brimstones and evil was the rain which fell on those who were forewarned. Say, praise be to Allah, and peace be on His servants whom He has chosen to deliver His message. Ask them, who is better, Allah or the deities they associate with Him? If you are going to live here forever, whenever you lay your hands on anyone, you act like cruel tyrants. Have fear of Allah and obey me. Fear the one who has given you all the things that you know. He has given you flocks and children, gardens and fountains. Truly, I fear for you the torment of a dreadful day. They replied, it is the same to us whether you preach us or you are not one of the preachers. Such preaching is nothing but an ancient myth. We are not going to be punished. So they disbelieved him, and we utterly destroyed them. Surely in this story there is a great lesson, but most of these people do not learn a lesson and become believers. Surely your Rabb is the one who is the mighty as well as the merciful. The people of Thamud also disbelieved their Rasuls. Remember when their brother Saleh asked them, have you no fear of Allah? Rest assured that I am a trustworthy Rasul of Allah towards you. So fear Allah and obey me. I do not ask you for any reward for my services, for my reward will be given by the Rabb of the worlds. Will you be left in peace to enjoy all that you have here forever? Gardens and fountains, cornfields and palm trees laden with juicy fruit, carving your dwellings in the mountains and leading a happy life? Have fear of Allah and obey me. Do not follow the bidding of the extravagant who breed corruption in the land and reform nothing. They replied, you are but one of the bewitched. You are no more than a human being like us. Bring forth the sign if you are one of the truthful. Saleh said, well, here is the she-camel, the sign that you asked for. She shall have her share of water as you all have yours, each drinking on an alternate appointed day. Do not touch her with evil, lest the punishment of a dreadful day may overtake you. Yet they hamstrung her, then became full of regrets. So the punishment overtook them. Surely in this story there is a great lesson, but most of these people do not learn a lesson and become believers. Surely your Rabb is the one who is the mighty as well as the merciful. The people of Lut also disbelieved their Rasuls. Remember when their brother Lut asked them, have you no fear of Allah? Rest assured that I am a trustworthy Rasul of Allah towards you, so fear Allah and obey me. I do not ask you for any reward for my services, for my reward will be given by the Rabb of the worlds. Will you fornicate with males from among the creatures of the worlds and leave those whom your Rabb has created for you to be your mates? Nay, you are a people who have transgressed all limits. They replied, if you do not stop, O Lut, you shall become one of the expelled. Lut said, I am certainly one of those who abhor your actions. O my Rabb, deliver me and my family from their wicked deeds. So we delivered him and all his family, except an old woman who was left among those who remained behind. Then we utterly destroyed the rest. We rained down on them the rain of brimstones, and evil was the rain which fell on those who were forewarned. Surely in this story there is a great lesson, but most of these people do not learn a lesson and become believers. Surely your Rabb is the one who is the mighty as well as the merciful. The people of Aika also disbelieved their Rasul. Remember Shuaib asked them, have you no fear of Allah? Rest assured that I am a trustworthy Rasul of Allah towards you, so fear Allah and obey me. I do not ask you for any reward for my services, for my reward will be given by the Rabb of the worlds. Give full measure, and be not of those who cause losses to others by fraud. Weigh with even scales, and do not cheat your fellow men of what is rightfully theirs, nor spread evil in the land. Fear Him who has created you and the generations before you. They replied, you are surely one of those who are bewitched. You are no more than a human being like us, and we think that you are lying. Let a fragment fall out of the sky on us if you are telling the truth. Shuaib said, my Rabb has full knowledge of all your actions. So they disbelieved him, and the torment of the day of darkness, dark clouds carrying Allah's scourge, seized them. And indeed, it was the torment of an extremely dreadful day. Surely, in this story, there is a great lesson, but most of these people do not learn a lesson and become believers. Surely your Rabb is the one who is the mighty as well as the merciful. Surely, this Quran is a revelation from the Rabb of the worlds. The trustworthy spirit angel Jibreel brought it down upon your heart so that you may become one of those who are appointed by Allah to warn the people in a plain Arabic language. This fact was foretold in the scriptures of the former people. Is it not sufficient proof for the people that the learned men of the children of Israel knew about it? Even so that if we had revealed it to a non-Arab and had he recited it to them in fluent Arabic, they would still not have believed in it. We have thus caused unbelief in the hearts of the criminals. They are not going to believe in it until they see the painful scourge, which in their heedlessness will come to them suddenly. Then they will ask, can we be given some respite? Do they wish to hurry on our scourge? Just think. If we let them enjoy this life for many years, and then the scourge with which they are threatened falls upon them, of what avail will their past enjoyments be to them? Never have we destroyed a population to whom we did not send warners. They were forewarned, and we have never been unjust. This Quran is not brought down by the shaitans. It is neither in their interest nor in their power to produce such a masterpiece. They are kept too far off to even hear it. So do not call on other gods besides Allah, lest you become one of those who incur His punishment. Admonish your close relatives and lower your wings of kindness to those of the believers who follow you. But if they disobey, tell them, I am not accountable for what you do. Put your trust in the Almighty, the Merciful, who observes you when you get up and when you walk among those who prostrate themselves in worship. He is the one who hears all and knows all. Shall I tell you, O people, on whom the shaitans descend? They descend on every slandering sinner, those who listen to hearsay, and most of them are liars, and those poets who are followed by those who go astray. Do you not see how aimlessly they wander in every valley, preaching what they do not practice themselves? However, an exception is made for those poets who believe, who do good deeds, engage much in the remembrance of Allah, and defend themselves when wronged, showing no vindictiveness. The unjust oppressors will soon find out what vicissitudes their affairs will take. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. Surah An-Naml. Tasin. These are the verses of the Quran, the glorious book, a guide and good news for the believers who establish the Salah and pay the Zakah and firmly believe in the hereafter. As for those who do not believe in the hereafter, we make their deeds seem fair to them. Therefore they blunder about in their folly. They are the ones for whom there is an evil punishment, and in the hereafter they will be the greatest losers. And O Muhammad, most surely you are receiving this Quran from the one who is wise and all-knowing.